Hey guys, welcome back to Auto Detour. This is Ryan. This is Scott. And today we are going to take a look at Scott's 2006 Subaru STI. And I'm going to apologize in advance. We filmed this over 2 days. The shots from yesterday are going to be super sunny. And as you can see, the shots from today are really windy and snowy. So anyway, we're going to take a look at the car. We're going to do a walk around with Scott, and then we'll get in really quickly because it's freezing and talk about driving and the ownership of the car.
Yeah.
So anyway, Scott, let's walk around.
Okay.
So take us to your first modification from the outside.
Not much, honestly, on the outside. When I bought the car, it had the WRX wing. One of the previous owners had swapped out the STI wing for that. So I put the STI wing back on it. It also had gold BBS rims when I got it, and I liked the look of the silver on the black a little bit better. So I swapped those out as well. But other than that, there really haven't been many exterior modifications.
Okay. And I know you mentioned you put aftermarket exhaust on it.
Yeah, so it has the COBB, basically Turboback exhaust. So it has the catted downpipe from the Turboback, and then I have the COBB stainless steel catted exhaust. So I really like the sound. It's not super loud, but it definitely has that Subaru rumble, which I really wanted.
All right, you want to jump inside and give it a little rev for me? And
Yeah.
I'll hold it back here.
Let's go for a drive.
Yeah.
It's cold out here.
It's really freezing. All right, so we're in the STI. Before we get going here, I want to again thank Scott for letting us take a look at his car.
No problem.
If you haven't met Scott yet, he's been in some of my past videos. Go check that out. He is on Instagram at Hipposcotamus84.
Yep.
Be sure to follow along, ask him for a follow, and check out his photos from our trips. He's got other trips up there and car pictures, and yeah, so just be sure to follow along. You can also follow me at Auto Detour. So with that being said, let's take the STI for a drive, see how she does. Luckily it's not too slick yet, but the weather really turned on us.
Yeah, it did.
So anyway, let's get going. I will mention that this is my first time driving this car, and so forgive me.
Feel free to make fun of him.
Yeah. So here we go. Watch me kill it.
I was expecting to bounce it off the rev limiter and just pop the clutch.
Yeah. As we're driving along here, I'm just going to give my first impressions since this is my first time driving the car. I will say that I've owned a Subaru in the past. I owned a 2002 Bug-Eye WRX. Similar feeling. They're very similar car, but this one has a very tight gearbox, I would say. Short shifts. When I drove my WRX, it was a 2002, so we didn't have an STI option in the United States.
It was a 5-speed.
And it was a 5-speed. So this STI is a 6-speed, and the shifts feel very short, like you would get in a short throw shifter. So yeah. Tell me a little bit about the shifter, and is it aftermarket, is it stock?
Yeah, so this car has the factory short throw shifter, and then I had I think they were COBB brand or cardboard brand shifter bushings put in, and that really tightened up the shift. There's not a lot of movement in the shifter at all. I think it's one of the better shifting cars I've driven, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much it with that. The drivetrain itself has tightened up a little bit since stock, so I thought the factory motor mounts were a little bit too sloppy. I could really feel the car moving around going under boost. So I replaced those with the group in motor mounts, transmission mounts. It has outrigger bushings. So there's actually a lot more drivetrain noise in here than it was stock, but I think everything feels a little bit tighter as a result.
Okay. Yeah, and I only have my WRX to compare it to, and this feels much tighter, stiffer. The gearbox is tighter, like you said, with the bushings. Yeah. This car is clearly faster than my car. And the one thing that I would say, I don't want to say it's a complaint, but it was the same with my car, and I've heard for other Subarus, is they don't have a lot of sound deadening. There's a lot of road noise, and it just feels, you hear every rock, you hear every...
Well, there's such a big difference. Like, I drove a 2015 STI the other day, and yeah, the amount of sound deadening, the amount of road noise, like the NVH factor is much, much higher in this car than the new one. The new one is very quiet by comparison. I don't think it's a super quiet car, but when compared to these ones from the mid 2000s to early 2000s, like your Bug Eye, yeah, the new ones are definitely quieter.
It pulls pretty good. I mean, that was only third gear, but one thing I do love is you can hear the turbo, you can hear the exhaust. It's a very tight driving car. It just makes for a really fun driving experience because the hood slopes in such a way that you feel like you're right up front. You can see a lot of the road. You sit relatively high for a viewpoint.
Certainly compared to newer cars.
Yeah. So, good choice on the exhaust.
Thank you.
It's not too overbearing. You can hear it. Sounds nice, but it's not obnoxious like my car was.
Yeah.
So on my WRX, I had a catless HKS downpipe to 3-inch exhaust to a Flowmaster muffler.
Yeah, which actually sounded really good on the boxer motor.
Yeah, it sounded good. Yeah, but for a daily driver and longer trips, it was super drony.
It droned really bad.
So this one, I don't get the sense that it really does that at all.
No, when you're driving in 6th gear, like, you don't get a lot of like really annoying exhaust noise. It's not bad at all. And I was initially planning to keep the stock exhaust on there because I didn't want something that was super loud, because this is my daily driver. And once I started driving it with the COBB exhaust, I just the noise didn't bother me at all. I think it really sounds good. That's it. Yeah. So I sold the stock one and I haven't thought twice about it since then. It does have a couple things we haven't talked about. I did put the PST carbon fiber drive shaft in, which I think made a huge difference. I know there's a lot of not controversy, but just there's a lot of differing opinions about how much people think that makes a difference. And I really thought it changed the driving dynamics of the car a lot, especially from starting and stopping. When you're doing downshifts, when you're driving it hard, I thought that the shifts were a lot easier with the carbon fiber drive shaft. And then it certainly took some weight out of the drivetrain, so that was good. It also has the COBB intake, which is why you can hear the bypass valve and why you can hear the intake as prominently as you can. And that was probably one of my favorite mods too, just because of the way it made the intake sound.
Yeah. You can hear it. You can hear. I don't know if we can pick it up on the audio here, but
here I can put the microphone in the glove terms of just ownership experiences, like I said, I've had it for about almost exactly 50,000 miles now. I did have the fuel pressure regulator go out, and that had to be replaced. That was kind of a big deal.
What kind of what mileage was the car at when that happened?
I think it was right at low 90s.
Okay.
It's when I was changing the brake pads and rotors, it's pretty common in these cars, the brake caliper bolts get stuck in the brake caliper and actually break off, and that's what happened to me. So I had to take it to a machine shop and get the rest of the bolt taken out of the aluminum brake caliper. So that was a pain in the ass. But other than that, it's been pretty pretty much just regular maintenance. I did also have the clutch switch go out when I was actually down here visiting you guys one time after a spirited drive. So now the car doesn't have to have the clutch. Well, it's been replaced, but initially the car didn't have to have the clutch in to get started. But yeah, other than that, it's just every 3,000 mile maintenance. The car eats up about a quart of oil every 1,000 miles, so I'm just very aware of that and make sure that it's always topped off.
Is that common?
I honestly have no idea. I think I've heard from friends that they've had to do similar things, but I don't know.
Okay.
Average is about 22, 23 miles per gallon. I keep track of all that. And that's with the Stage 2 tune from COBB. I didn't talk about that, but it does have the access port COBB Stage 2. And I've got it tuned for it's on the 91, just off-the-shelf tune. This has not been custom tuned at all.
So what are other guys with that similar tune seeing for horsepower-wise?
I think on the dyno, typically they're in the high 290s to the wheels.
Okay.
And then they pick up more than that once they get a custom tune. But I don't think it's much more than that with just the setup that I have now.
Okay.
The other cool thing about this car is just the community. There's a lot we live in the Northwest. Oh, he doesn't, but I do. Live in the Northwest, and there's a lot of Subaru owners and a lot of Subaru enthusiasts, and had nothing but good things to say about that experience. All right, so I'm going to shove this in the glove compartment so you can hear the bunch of stuff just flew out of my glove compartment, so I've got to clean up a little bit.
It's been a while since I've driven a turbocharged car. You kind of forget how fun it is to just get up there and feel the turbo spool.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun to experience it from this seat, not being in control of it, because it's a totally different experience. It sounds different. Like, there's, when the turbo spools up and it starts to pull really hard, like I don't feel that anymore as the driver, just because I'm used to it. You kind of get used to it over time.
Yeah.
So it's fun to feel it from this side of the car.
Ready?
Yep. Yeah, Ryan had an O2 blue bug eye that was in just pristine condition. This was back, when was that? Like 2004, 2005?
Let's see, that would have been 2006 or 7. I had a 2002 World Rally Blue bug eye WRX. And it was a super fun car. And I actually had these same wheels on it.
You did, yeah. I remember that. It was fun up until the point that the transmission blew out.
Yeah. So we were doing some spirited driving, and so I also had a Stage 2 tune on my WRX, which didn't put me at nearly the horsepower numbers as this one, but I would say it would be right around the same horsepower numbers as a stock STI. And we were doing a good pull from first to second, and let's just say the shift from first to second didn't end well.
No, we were on our way to Jack in the Box, as I remember.
Yeah. Holy crap! Any normal people would not be out here right now. They'd be at home in their pajamas watching Netflix.
Which is where I'm going next.
Yeah. So But we are out here reviewing cars for you guys, and I expect a huge thank you. No, I'm just kidding. I thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate it. Thank you to Scott for letting us drive his STI today. What a fun car. Like, I kind of forgot. It's been a while since I had my WRX. It was fun to get back into Subaru. Yours is much faster than mine was. But anyway, follow Scott. Thanks to Scott again for letting us drive his car. What a beautiful car, by the way, buddy.
Thank you.
It's fun. I love black. I mean, I had World Rally Blue, but black is an awesome color. Looks great with the silver wheels. But if you guys wouldn't mind, please like that video, subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time. We'll talk to
you next time.
And so thank you for watching. Have a great day. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.